Now, a court in France has ruled that the French state is liable for inaction on climate change. This after a case backed by 2 million French citizens was brought forward by NGOs. The court in Paris has ruled that the state's inaction had caused ecological damage. They will now take 2 months to decide whether to force the government to take steps to further reduce emissions. For more on this story, we can bring in our Environmental Affairs Editor, Mairead Dundas. Good to see you, Mairead. What's so special about this case?
Well, as the public rapporteur described it during the hearing, this is the first major climate lawsuit in France. I might add it's probably not the last. The first time that 4 major NGOs have launched such a direct attack on the government in courts for inaction on climate change. And as you mentioned, the ruling is the first time that the court has recognised that the government has failed to meet the commitments it set itself to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. It also ordered the state to pay a symbolic €1 to the plaintiffs, the NGOs, for ecological damage. So we talk about ecological damage. What is that? Well, in this case, it actually means changes to the atmosphere linked to a surplus in emissions. So too many emissions going up, surplus creating climate change and other effects. And the judge ruled that the state has to be seen as at least somewhat responsible for this because it has failed to act or failed to act sufficiently. Now, of course, the NGOs are delighted with this ruling. It comes almost 2 years after they first filed the complaint. And we spoke to one of them. Let's take a listen to a representative from the NGO Oxfam.
For the first time, the French state's responsibility in the climate crisis is acknowledged by French justice. So really, it's the victory of the truth over the state's denial. The state has relentlessly claimed its actions are sufficient, despite all evidence. And so today, justice has sided with all of those who have been warning about climate change for decades. So yes, this is a historic victory for climate justice in France.
So, Mairead, this ruling is symbolic, but what changes can we see?
Well, we won't really know. We've got 2 months. The judges have given themselves 2 months to decide whether they're going to force Emmanuel Macron to make concrete changes. What it does mean is it adds political pressure on debates at the moment on a bill linked to climate change coming from the Citizens' Convention on the Climate. This adds another layer of pressure when it's presented to ministers next week.
All right, thank you very much for that, Mairead Dundas there.